Testament of Zebulun, concerning compassion and mercy. Chapter 1. Zebulun. The record of Zebulun, which he instructed his children in the 114th year of his life, 32 years after the death of Joseph. He said to them, "Listen to me, my sons. I, Zebulun, am a good gift to my parents. For when I was born, our father had greatly increased both flocks and herds, when with the streaked rods he had his portion. My children, I know throughout my life I sinned in my thoughts. I do not remember actually committing a sin, except the sin of ignorance, which I committed against Joseph. For I helped my brothers, and did not tell my father what had happened. I cried secretly, because I was afraid of my brothers. They had all agreed together that if anyone should declare the secret, he should be slain with the sword. But when they wished to kill him, I pleaded with them to not be guilty of this iniquity." Chapter 2. Joseph sold. Simeon and Gad came against Joseph to kill him. Joseph fell upon his face and said unto them, "Pity me, my brothers. Have compassion for the sake of Jacob our father. Do not kill me. I am innocent. I have not sinned against you. If I have sinned, then punish me, but do not kill me. Think of what it will do to Jacob our father." When I heard him say those words, I pitied him and began to weep. My heart melted, and I became sick to my stomach. Joseph also wept, and I wept with him. My heart pounded, and I trembled. When Joseph saw them coming against him to kill him, he fled behind me, begging them. Reuben said, "My brothers, let us not kill him, but let us cast him into one of these dry pits which our fathers dug." The Lord kept those wells dry in order to preserve Joseph's life, because after he was sold to the Ishmaelites, water sprang up from them. Chapter 3. Law of Enoch. I had no share in the money obtained for Joseph, but Simeon, Gad, and 6 of our brothers took the money and bought sandals for themselves, their wives, and their children, saying, "We will not eat of it, for it is the price of our brother's blood, but we will tread it down underfoot, because he said that he was king over us, and so let us see what his dreams mean." It is written in the law of Enoch that whoever will not raise up seed to his brother, his sandal will be unloosed, and they will spit into his face. Joseph's brothers did not wish him to live, and the Lord loosed unto them the sandal of Joseph. For when they came into Egypt, they were unloosed by Joseph's servants before the gate, and so made subject to Joseph in the Egyptian way. Not only that, but they were spit upon also, falling down before him immediately. And so they were put to shame before the Egyptians. After this, the Egyptians heard all the evils which we had done to Joseph. Chapter 4. Joseph sold. After these things they brought forth food. For 2 days and nights I tasted nothing, through pity for Joseph. Judah did not eat with them, but watched the pit, for he was afraid that Simeon and Gad would go back and kill him. When they saw that I did not eat, they set me to watch him until he was sold. He remained in the pit 3 days and 3 nights, and so was sold, starving. When Reuben heard that while he was away Joseph had been sold, he rent his clothes about him and mourned, saying, "How will I look in the face of Jacob my father?" He took the money and ran after the merchants, but he could not find them, for they left the main road. Reuben did not eat that day. Dan came up to him and said, "Don't worry. I have figured out what to say to our father Jacob. Let us kill a kid of goats and dip it in the coat of Joseph, and we will say, 'Look and see if this is your son's coat.'" For they stripped Joseph of the coat his father gave him and put slaves' clothes on him before they sold him. Now Simeon had the coat and would not give it up, wishing to rend it with his sword, for he was angry that Joseph lived, and that he had not killed him. We all rose up together against him and said, "If you do not give it up, we will say that you alone did this wickedness in Israel." And so he gave it up, and they did as Dan had said. Chapter 5. Sin causes sickness. Now, my children, I bid you to keep the commands of the Lord. Show mercy to your neighbor, and have compassion towards all, not just men, but also animals. For this thing's sake the Lord blessed me. When all my brothers were sick, I escaped without sickness, for the Lord knows each person's heart. Therefore have compassion, because whatever a man does to his neighbor, the Lord will do to him. The sons of my brothers were sick and dying because of Joseph, because they did not show mercy in their hearts. But my sons were preserved without sickness, as you know. When I was in Canaan by the seacoast, I caught spoil of fish for Jacob my father, and when many were drowned in the sea, I survived unhurt. Chapter 6. Sailing and Fishing. I was the first who made a boat to sail upon the sea, for the Lord gave me understanding and wisdom therein. I let down a rudder behind it, and stretched a sail on an upright mast in the midst, and sailed along the shores. I caught fish for the house of my father until we went into Egypt. Through compassion I gave of my fish to every stranger. If any man were a stranger or sick or aged, I boiled the fish and dressed them well and offered them to all men as every man had need, bringing them together and having compassion upon them. Therefore the Lord granted me to catch many fish, for he that imparts unto his neighbor receives much more from the Lord. For 5 years I caught fish, and gave to every man whom I saw, and brought sufficient for all the house of my father. In the summer I caught fish, and in the winter I kept sheep with my brothers. Chapter 7. Showing Mercy. Now I will declare unto you what I did. I saw a man in distress and nakedness in winter time, and had compassion upon him. I secretly gave him a garment from my house. Do the same from which God has given to you. Impartially show compassion and mercy to all men, and give to every man with a good heart. If you have nothing to give at that time, at least show him mercy. When I had nothing to give, I walked with them, listened, and gave them advice. Chapter 8. Compassion and Mercy. Show compassion to everyone with mercy, so that the Lord will be compassionate and merciful to you. God will show compassion in the last days, and will dwell with all those who practice mercy. If you have no compassion on your neighbor, God will have no compassion for you. When we went down into Egypt, Joseph bore no malice against us. When he saw me, he was filled with compassion. Take his example. Forsake malice, love one another, and plan no evil for your brother, for this breaks unity, divides families, and troubles the soul. Whoever bears malice cannot show mercy. Chapter 9. 2 Kingdoms and 2 Captivities. Consider a river that can move trees and rocks. If it is divided into many small streams, the earth just dries them up. So you will be if you become divided. Do not divide yourselves into 2 heads, for everything which the Lord made has only one head. He gave pairs of shoulders, hands, and feet, but all the members are subject unto the one head. I have learned by the writing of my fathers that in the last days you will depart from the Lord and be divided in Israel. You will follow 2 kings, work every abomination, and worship every idol. Your enemies will lead you captive, and you will dwell among the nations with all infirmities, tribulations, and anguish of soul. After these things you will remember the Lord and repent. He will lead you back, for he is merciful and full of compassion, not imputing evil to the sons of men because they are flesh. The spirits of error deceive them in all their ways. After these things the Lord himself will arise to you.
Footnote double K, Matthew 4:14 through 16, Zebulun and Naphtali, the Galilee of the Gentiles.
The light of righteousness, healing, and compassion will be in his wings. He will redeem all captivity of the sons of men from Belial, and every spirit of error will be trodden down. He will bring back all the nations to zeal for him, and you will see God in the fashion of a man whom the Lord will choose. Jerusalem is his name. With the wickedness of your words will you provoke him to anger again, and you will be cast away, even unto the time of consummation. Chapter 10. Zebulun's death. My children, do not grieve over my death. I will arise once more in your midst, as a ruler in the midst of his sons. I will rejoice in the midst of my tribe, as many as have kept the law of the Lord and the commandments of Zebulun their father. But the Lord will destroy the ungodly with everlasting fire throughout all generations. I am quickly going to my rest, as did my fathers. Fear the Lord your God with all your strength all the days of your life. When he had said these things, he fell calmly asleep, and his sons laid him in a coffin. Afterwards they carried him up to Hebron and buried him with his fathers. Commentary. Zebulun 3 states that the law of Enoch contains the Mosaic ritual of the brother-in-law. Zebulun 9 teaches that Israel will split into two kingdoms. They will have two captivities, which were the Babylonian and Roman. The book Writings of the Fathers teach that the Messiah starts his ministry in the land of Zebulun, and that the Messiah is both God and man. Zebulun 10 teaches that there will be a resurrection.